Good morning. Good morning. And thank you all for coming this morning. This is an exciting day. You may recall that we were here some months ago, but here we are again for an update, a celebration of progress in regard to the community investments in the Dundee Cottages. I wanted to take just a moment and welcome the mayor, Mayor Van Johnson, and recognize some individuals, our city manager, Jay Melder, our assistant city manager, Heath Lloyd, as well as Team Savannah. I also wanted to take a moment to recognize CHSA and CHSA Development Board of Directors, as well as Housing Savannah and its Board of Directors. So thank you all for coming. I also want to acknowledge our elected officials that are with us this morning. We have Alderwoman Linda Waldo Bryant. We also have with us District 4, Alderman Nick Palumbo. We also have with us Alderman Curtis Pertee, representing District 6. And just in the event, I also want to recognize any county commissioners or county representatives that are with us today. We also have with us, and you'll hear from some of these speakers a little later on today, Jennifer DeLong with the Chatham Savannah Authority for the Homeless. I want to recognize Martin Freddy, who is the Director for the city's Housing and Neighborhood Services Department. Stephanie Capel. We also want to recognize Stephanie Capel with the Interagency Council on Homelessness. Laura Lane McKinnon, the Executive Director for Housing Savannah, Inc. We also want to recognize Taffany Young, the Chief Community Service Manager. And so with that, we'll get started with our program. So first up, I would like to invite Alderwoman Linda Wilder Bryant to the podium.
Yeah! Yeah! Good morning, God morning. Not good, but God morning. I stand in front of you, y'all, when people say that things aren't being done in the 3rd District, y'all just spin around and see. It ain't true. It ain't true. We started out with tents. This place was supposed to be tents. And it came from an article from Andre Patterson from the Orlando Times where homeless, I like to call them ruthless people were staying in tents. And so Pat Monahan was the then interim city manager, and we praying for Pat Monahan. He's awesome. And so he's like, I think we can do a little better than tents. We collected over 200 tents from people just like you, and they're sitting in a warehouse somewhere. And so if you know somebody who needs a tent, we have them. Yeah, we still got them. We do. We have them. But what I want you to see is that the amazing, this is the village, y'all. Let me hear you say village. Village. Let me hear you say it again. Village. This is the village. There's so many moving parts. So many moving parts. We got to start off with, oh my God, I don't want to miss nobody. Pat Monahan, then Michael Brown, and then pulling up the rear, Jay Melder. Let me hear you say Jay Melder. Yes. And so we got so many moving parts. We got Taffany from Housing. We got Mr. Freddie. We got the beast, Anita Smith Dixon. And I called her Anita Smith Hill for a long time before she said, you know that's not my name. So I want y'all to know all of the good things that happen in the 3rd District is because of community partnerships. Now let me tell you about Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown is a minority contractor. Mr. Brown, where you at, Mr. Brown? You back over there hiding? He's not doing anything minor. Community partnerships work. CHSA, Katrina Bostic with Family Promise, Jen, the Beast Darcy. I don't want to mess up her last name. She got married, and so, hey, I don't want to mess up her last name. But I don't want to miss anybody. The Beast, the mayor, I stand with Van, y'all. Let me hear you say, he gonna get mad. Let me hear you say I stand with Van. I can't hear you. Now, everybody says that politics got us here, and politics got us out. Look at this. Just look at this. 50 people from our community are going to be able to call this place their home. We even got a chapel. Isn't that right? We got a chapel here. And so everything that I do, I put God first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Because everything else that we do, it comes from God. So make no mistake, Linda Brother Brian and her team can do this without Kirk, Italian Stallion, that's Big Baby. You know, we really do like each other, and you can show. It shows because we're getting stuff done. I need to say this, and they're trying to cut the mic off on me, but I gotta, but I need to tell y'all because this is worth waiting for. During the pandemic, let me hear you say during the pandemic. You know, I like for people to get audience participation because y'all listening to me, right? I see the news cameraman, but guess what? We could not have done this without you guys too, because I tagged y'all. I sure did, because I tagged everybody to let them know that we need some tents, and we were able to get those tents. And just amazing, the community partners, the Mr. Freddie. Oh my God, we gonna keep Mr. Freddie, right? Well, we can if people keep saying rollback stuff. Something has to go. He won't go. I want y'all to know that we have to keep talking about the good things that are happening. The good things that are happening in Savannah. And let's guess what? One of those good things is right here. And I'm so grateful that I was a part of this. And Andre Patterson and Patrick Monahan, we call him the other carpenter. Y'all know who the first carpenter was. Pat Monahan is a beast. Michael Brown is a beast. Jay Melder, all y'all smiling faces. We did this together. Let me hear you say, we did this. We're going to continue to do great things in this city. And I am so proud, so very proud to be the alderman from the 3rd District. I call it the mighty 3rd District because that's what we are. When people are saying that we don't do things, this mayor right here, during the pandemic, we had, during our term, 3 years, we had 67 capital projects, and 37 were completed because of the Beast Lloyd. Yes, yeah, the Beast Lloyd, he's the beast. And we need to give everybody our flowers, their flowers, so they can breathe and touch and move on. And I'm not leaving until I thank the God on high to valuing us and valuing people. The mayor says it all the time. It is not a crime to be ruthless. When we were collecting items like cat food and dog food, people tried to beat me up. You know why? It's like, why is she collecting food, cat food? Duh, because they live outside and they keep snakes and rats away. And so when you don't know, you don't know. But when you do know, you do better, and you do these kind of things that embraces the quality of life and continues to make this city what it is. And so if we can make it work here, we can make it work in the 2nd District, in the 3rd District, in the 4th District, in the 5th District, and the 6th District. So I'm going to move on out here like Michael Jackson, but I'm floating right now, y'all, because God is good, this team is good, and the only way we continue to be progressive is that we continue to keep this team, because we are a team. I love them. They're my family. In the 3rd District, we're going to continue to... I can't even tell y'all about Mr. Brown and his family, but I got to make sure that you know. Mr. Brown, excavating, cleaned up the area on President Street, and they're saying that black people aren't doing things in this city. They don't want you to know, but it's not true. But it's not about black. It's about green and a dream and keeping it alive. And we keep it alive by embracing everybody at the same time. So my commitment is still going to be the same commitment. I'm going to do as much as I can for as many people as I can, as often as I can. God bless y'all. God keep y'all. And 3rd District, from the old saints. This is good. I'm popping my collar. Yeah. I'm proud.
Thank you very much, Alderwoman Linda Wilder Bryant. I also want to just take a moment and recognize a couple people that I missed in the initial introduction that are very key to this particular project. Land Bank Authority, we have Allison Goldie as well as any board members with her. Pat Shea, he's the architect for this particular project if he's here in the audience. And most importantly, I forgot the contractor, KJ General, Kenny Jinks, and his team that are in the back. So I want to recognize those key individuals as well. Now, next on our agenda, we want to hear from our city manager, Jay Melder.
Thank you. This really is an exciting project and glad we can come here to celebrate a new milestone going vertical with these new homes and the completion of 12 new tiny homes here in the background for veterans. You know, home is not just a place. It's a feeling of safety, of belonging, and it's the cornerstone of a thriving community. It's where dreams take root. It's where families grow. It's where memories are etched into walls. And providing stable, dignified housing isn't just a basic need. It's the foundation upon which lives are built and societies flourish. And that's a value and a truth that we have at the City of Savannah and that we share with our partners. And it takes partnership and it takes that value to be able to make projects like this and others like it come alive and take root and provide that home and stability and dignity and dream and hope for our neighbors and our residents. Affordable housing isn't easy. Providing housing solutions for people experiencing homelessness isn't easy. It takes a tremendous amount of partnership, a tremendous amount of collaboration. It's a really, really thick, good gumbo.
Yes.
If you know where I'm from. Got to talk about that gumbo, Nick and I.
Bring it.
And so this project isn't possible without every partner in the room rowing together in the same direction and having and sharing the same North Star. And it starts first with our mayor and council and the charge that residents gave them to do something more around affordable housing and providing for people experiencing homelessness. It starts with an amazing team at Team Savannah. Team Savannah, raise your hand. Whoop, whoop. Great. It takes partnerships with the Community Services Housing Agency, Anita Smith-Dixon and her entire team and the board. It takes partners at the Land Bank Authority, Allison Golden and her team. Wonderful job. It takes new partnerships like Housing Savannah, Inc., who's out there raising money, awareness, and advocacy for the power of the Savannah Affordable Housing Fund and projects like this. Laura Lane McKinnon, thank you for being here. And I saw other members of the Housing Savannah, Inc. board in the house. Where you at? It takes community efforts and collaborations to build capacity around systems that help solve homelessness, like our interagency council and continuum of care, and our executive director for the ICH, Stephanie Capel, is here. Stephanie, wonderful job. Thank you. It takes tremendous leadership from our homeless services providers and our homeless services authority, of which we have the finest one anywhere, and their executive director, Jen DeLong. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
As evidenced by the success of the Veterans Tiny Home Village just across the street. And this is a village. Linda, you're right, this is a village. And we're creating a community and a space for hope and for dreams to come alive and for people to have a foundation from which to reach their full human potential. So I want to thank, some of the people who work on this site every day and who are making this dream happen by their labor and their skill. We thanked, it starts with architect Pat Shea. Yeah. Thank you, Pat Shea. Our engineers at CHA Companies and Donna Blaylock. Our infrastructure contractor, which Johnson and Lux. Our building contractor, Kenny Jenks and KJ Construction. And I want to note, this is a pretty big deal, Mr. Mayor, Council. This was a 40% DBE project. 40% DBE project.
That's what he says.
Johnson and Lux, SABE, Mr. Brown. We already thank Mr. Brown. Yeah. Sims of the South. All of our disadvantaged and minority businesses playing a part in making this dream happen and keeping local dollars local, and in this project, keeping federal dollars local, which is even more important. But let's focus on the outcome again, and I'll close there, is that in a few short months, the pipes and the studs and the foundations you see will be the foundations of new homes and new lives, and that 50 new households, 50 people, will have a place that they can call home, a place that they can operate and do business out of, a place where they can feel safe and secure, and a place where they can launch themselves into brand new possibilities, all because our residents, our political leaders, and our partners are making that dream happen, and I'm just proud to be a part of it. This is an exciting day, and I can't wait to come cut the ribbon, Jen. Thank you.
Yeah, Jay!
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. And now we will hear from our mayor, Mayor Van Johnson.
Yeah! Woo-hoo! Go man.
Thank you, Anita, and good morning, everyone. I have the pleasure of waking up being the mayor of the greatest city on earth. And we know her as Savannah. And there are many reasons why Savannah could be characterized as the greatest city on earth. Certainly we have the architecture, certainly we have the topography, certainly we've had the weather, certainly we have the restaurants, and certainly we have the amenities that people enjoy. But the reality is, and it's always been, the greatest thing about Savannah is the people of Savannah. And more importantly, the capacity of the people of Savannah to care, to give a damn, and to be able to work together, work collaboratively, to be able to address critical community issues. What we have done and what we continue to do is not to run away from issues because they are hard, but we run to them because they're hard. And what we've been able to do over the last few years is really create a continuum of care that extends to our entire community. And so when you look around, you see people from all segments of our community, because we recognize that providing homes for those who don't have them is a community-wide challenge, but it's also a community-wide opportunity. I see our school board president, Roger Moss, behind me, because ultimately they're our kids too. We're all in this together. And so you see a mixture of community service agencies, all of us working together, all of us with our hands on the plow, all of us rowing in the same direction and not caring about who gets the credit. Because in the end, people have the homes that they need and the people have the homes that they deserve. And so we ran into this thing called supply chain issues. It was something that was not in our vernacular beyond a couple of years ago. But yet, you keep pushing and you keep rowing. And so, despite all of that, despite the delays, we have finally finished our infrastructure portion of the Dundee Cottage project. We now have a street.
Yes.
Y'all clap right there. We have a street because unless you have the street, nothing else happens. We now have water, and we now have sewers, and we now have curbs, and the work can begin on the above ground construction. This is important to us because at the end of the day, until we help people change their lives, then the work that we do means absolutely nothing. And this is life-changing work. And all of you are a part of this, and the names have already been mentioned, and I don't want to get too far into it because I'll miss somebody and then they'll be mad at me and blow me up. He didn't call our names. So, but certainly to Team Savannah for being able to catch on to a vision. A vision means nothing unless you have folks to catch on to that vision and carry it through. Certainly our succession of city managers culminating with this Louisianan, Washingtonian guy that now calls Savannah home, Jay Melder. Certainly Heath Lloyd, his work. Martin Freddie, who went back to the back of the line again. To all of our friends who embrace the concept of housing Savannah when I brought it to them as a vision statement, and now we actually have a plan and an NGO that's working and moving, our land bank authority that is purchasing, helping us keep things affordable. Of course, CSHA. I saw Israel Small around here, visionary as well. Y'all give Israel Small a round of applause. And who led some of this work. And then Taffany Young, who followed him and now is leading this work. That continuum. This is all of us together. this is what Savannah looks like. This is how Savannah cares. This is how Savannah loves. And I see something coming up, and I see Panhandle Slim in the back. For real. Y'all look around. That's Panhandle Slim. Look at him. Because he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone. So y'all better look at him real quick and get a selfie with him because he's going to disappear. So Panhandle Slim is a Savannian that we stole from Pensacola. His work was recently featured in my hometown in Brooklyn, New York. He is now world-known, world-renowned, and we are so blessed to call him a Savannian. And you've seen his work all over the place, and everybody all over works, but more importantly, this is good old soul art. Good old soul art. And so thank you, sir, for being with us. Thank you for all that you do for us. And again, before I get finished, he's going to be gone because that's how he does. But thank you all for rowing in the same direction. Thank you for embracing the vision, embracing the dream, and most importantly, thank you for being Savannah Strong.
1.5, Scott Staton. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And now we'll hear from the ultimate owner and operator of the project, and it's Jennifer DeLong with the Chatham Savannah Authority for the Homeless.
Thank you so much. This is an incredibly exciting day. If you work for Chatham Savannah Authority for the Homeless, can you come up here and join me? Yeah. Come on, Chatham Savannah Authority for the Homeless. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, the people who are helping get this work done every single day. It's because of innovative partnerships and people who keep pressing in that we are getting this work done. We stand on the shoulders of giants. The initiative next door that you see, the Veterans Tiny House community, was a thought behind Miss Cindy Kelly, my predecessor. She was really passionate about housing for people experiencing homelessness, and she had a theory that if we focused on a subpopulation of people, we could prove that we could bring down the numbers of people experiencing homelessness, very specifically veterans experiencing homelessness. And Chatham Savannah has reduced veteran homelessness by 50% since this project and others working towards veteran homelessness and a by nameless, being very intentional about that referral process, got them to stabilized housing. It is making a difference. The work is making a difference. I have my chairman, Jimmy Smith, here, and the immediate past chair, Mr. Julian Miller. These two gentlemen do hard work every single day. My board of directors is very supportive of the theory behind housing with dignity. Housing with dignity means that people experiencing homelessness, and homelessness is a trauma. So let's be very honest and transparent about the experience of homelessness. People experiencing homelessness are experiencing trauma. Their brains are thinking differently because they're in survival mode. It's fight or flight. It's very hard to have clear thinking when you don't know where you're going to sleep. It's very hard to have clear thinking when your nutrition needs are not being met, when your medical needs are not being met, when your mental health needs are not being met, when you don't have access to medicines that just are sustainable medicines, like for diabetes, like for fibromyalgia, those things that we deal with every single day. People experiencing homelessness are just trying to survive. This housing community is about people exiting homelessness. This community actually will help 120 people in total. These houses will help house approximately 120 people, depending on the iteration of that particular family unit. It has pets. We'll have pets here. So if you're experiencing unsheltered homelessness and you have a pet and you don't want to go stay in a shelter because you can't take your pet, you might get a house over here in the Dundee Cottages. That's incredible. Veterans Tiny House community. There are 12 additional Veterans Tiny Homes being built right now. They should be finished within a month. The Colonial Dames has made incredible investments for garden and green space next door. We have an outdoor chapel pavilion being built. It is incredible work. This community is working on the challenges of homelessness, but the supply chain issues that we thought about regarding roadage, guttering, and infrastructure here, think about supply chain issues in the homeless space. Think about the fact that when you get an emergency shelter bed space, you have to have an exit plan for housing stability on the other side of your homeless experience. And what if you're a person working full-time? What if your salary is approximately $40,000 a year? You can't afford housing here in Chatham Savannah. You can't afford to stabilize in housing. And there are supply chain issues regarding housing. We need housing inventory. This is taking housing inventory up by 52 units. By the time this community is fully built and those 12 are done, Our community will have worked towards increasing housing inventory by 52 units. That is something to celebrate here in Chatham Savannah. The work of the Interagency Council on Homelessness will look at the structure of how our homeless system responds to the experience of homelessness for all people experiencing homelessness, families and children experiencing homelessness. For every one adult bed space we have in emergency crisis shelter, there are 6 still needed bed spaces for families and children. So there's 6 times the number of bed spaces available for single unattached adults as there are for families and children. That is a crisis. That's a serious thing that we are dealing with. That's a serious thing that the school system deals with right now. 71% of students registered as McKinney-Vento in the school system are living doubled up. The rest are living in hotel motel stays if there's not emergency family shelter bed space available for those individuals experiencing family homelessness. People experiencing homelessness exiting hospital stays. Imagine if you're an individual who had a medical crisis and as a result you had a long-term or even a short-term hospital stay and your exit plan was back to homelessness. You will likely be back in the hospital. So the cost burden to our community is exponential when housing is not available. So we need to work on increasing housing inventory to help decrease that cost burden for the experience of homelessness for our entire community. Service providers like Salvation Army, Union Mission, Inner City Night Shelter, Emmaus, Family Promise, all of us are working together. We are not in silos. Through the Interagency Council on Homelessness and our collective body of work, we are focusing on initiatives that change this system of responses for people experiencing homelessness. So we at Chatham Savannah Authority for the Homeless must invest $2.7 million in this community. We have a fundraising initiative we must begin. We have to pay for the vertical construction of what's happening here. We'll ultimately purchase that vertical construction for a reinvestment back into the Savannah Affordable Housing Fund so they can continue doing incredible projects to increase housing inventory. That's how it works. This is an innovative partnership between Community Housing Services Agency, the City of Savannah, the Land Bank Authority, and Chatham Savannah Authority for the Homeless. This is your field experts right here. Chatham Savannah Authority for the Homeless team members and other local service providers, they are field experts working on people experiencing homelessness, providing those supports, providing that continuum of care every single day. But we need the support of local philanthropy. It's going to take private investment to help us make this a low barrier housing first community. In other words, you don't have to have a qualifying disability to get in this housing. You don't have to be 30% below AMI to get into this housing. You have to be a person or a family or a head of household experiencing homelessness. You'll come through a referral system that is built on equity and equitable access to services. That is one thing our community is really passionate about. Equitable access for all people experiencing an instance of homelessness. There are a lot of people living in our shelters right now, and Miss Linda James can attest to this, and Miss Patricia, that could actually self-resolve out of their shelter if they had access to an affordable unit to move into. That's what this community will help provide. So I ask Chatham Savannah citizens to help us once again. The Veterans Tiny House community is entirely private funding. There's no government dollars tied in next door. What you see next door is private partnership to local service providers. $3.2 billion ultimately was raised and invested in the community next door. We're asking again for the City of Savannah and its citizens to invest in us as an organization so that we can help provide a support, an exit plan for people experiencing homelessness. So thank you so much. We are so proud of our community. We're so proud of the Interagency Council on Homelessness work. We're so proud of all of our partnerships. We can't do it without you. I promise you every day we pick up the phone. We likely call Linda at Salvation Army or Patricia, and we ask them to help us with a complex need for a person experiencing homelessness. And so often they go, yes, okay, but you got to help us. And we're like, yes, okay. And so it's about partnership. It's about collaboration. It's really about working together. So thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. We're going to make this community and this city proud, just like we did next door. And we are grateful to be here. It's a good day in the city of Savannah. So thank you, Mayor and Council, for your intentional, strategic investment in housing for people exiting homelessness.
Thank you, Jen, and thanks to everyone who attended this event. And we look forward to seeing the actual verticals early next year or mid-year. And so thank you all for coming.
Sorry. No, you're good.